Yes. I already saw it. Let's see here. I see a lot of... Where are all those numbers for? I think people need to realize, like, we were completely... That contest was over, like, in the first 10 comments. Oh, that's sad, J-Hag. But I do see your comments. Starting to see your guys' comments. See you guys talking on YouTube. Thanks for chatting it up while we were finishing your podcast. Got Jordan in the house tonight. We're going to be talking a little tributary salmon fishing just because we're getting there. And I think we're supposed to have a little bit of rain. But yeah, you know what, guys? We get it. We're late. But you know what? We got to film that podcast. We're all busy catching fish today. Getting ready to catch more fish tomorrow. You guys know the drill. But we do appreciate you guys tuning in. And as always, let us know where you're tuning in from, because the first giveaway tonight, just in good fashion for the twitching season, is we've got some ejected. Ejected?
Ejected?
We got some ejected jigs, everybody.
What caught the salmon?
We've got some
ejected.
Ejected. Oh, I like that. Go side cam there, Clint. Show everybody what's up. This is going to be the first prize pack, guys. We've got a couple of our addicted twitchers, tail out twitchers right here. We've got a 3/4 ounce and a 1 ounce. And you might not need that 1 ounce right now, but you're going to want it later. So let us know where you're tuning in from. Be sure to like and share this out. Go, if you're on YouTube, make sure you close that chat window just for a half second. Tap that thumbs up. We do greatly appreciate it. Or tap the thumbs down, whatever. We like the engagement anyways. And awesome.
We'll take it.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right. What else we got going on? Coos Bay State in South Texas. Appreciate it.
All pouring in.
Holy crap, it's going too fast. Yakima, Newport, Tacoma.
We missed you guys.
Yeah, Salem. I want to try twitching this year. Might be an interesting year for twitching. It's kind of... I don't know how the numbers are going to come in, but I can tell you what, we've got the fact sheets from some of the meetings that are going on right now, and they did upgrade our A-Run cohos going over Bonneville. They upgraded our fall Chinook. We'll get into that in a little bit. So maybe there's hope for our B-Run right now. Millennia... Oh, I missed it. Dang it. You guys are going fast tonight. Millennia McEwen, $5 super chat. Greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Always appreciate the super chats, guys, and we'll always try to answer those questions as long as they don't involve river names. You know the drill. Colorado Springs. Thanks for tuning in, Skip. New York, Robert. There's a lot of people tuning in from
everywhere.
Michigan, Pullman.
What's going on in Michigan, everybody?
Yeah.
What are you catching yet?
Eugene, Oregon. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it. Kirkland. Oh, Kirkland. What's up, Trevor? How's the hand? Lewiston, Idaho. Yakult, Washington. My backyard. It was my backyard growing up. Chehalis, Washington. Troutdale. Olalla, Michigan. Damn.
Well, tell us a little bit about that picture that people keep asking about.
What picture?
And all those the picture on this.
I don't know. It's weird.
One slimy, stinky thing that you reeled in.
The dirt ball.
Yeah.
Slime ball, scaly, gross thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Real fast, Dave's Garage. Appreciate the super chat. Thanks for all the great content. Watching you guys in the Cali Bay area. Man, we need to get down there and do some striper fishing. I think this year, though, COVID kind of put a kibosh on a lot of that. But, I mean, we had some plans. I mean, I was going late April.
Now the whole place is engulfed in flames,
yeah,
as it is here.
Terrible.
So it's even harder to get there than it was before.
Log it, graze it, or watch it burn. Anyways, Dean, great fish Sunday. See you on the 24th. That's right. We will see you on the 24th. Looking forward to that. Yeah, we right now got a reopener slated for the Columbia River for the 23rd, but meeting tomorrow. And they did upgrade the Fall Chinook upriver bright component that's going over Bonneville, which basically says that our impacts go through the roof. That means our allowable impacts, I should say, go through the roof. We should be able to catch a few more fish. I think they...
So speak some numbers a little bit. You say they double the impact. You were talking in the podcast a little bit.
Yeah, so let's get it. We can get into that a little bit. Make sure you're letting us know where you're tuning in from. Clint's going to select the winner in about 5 minutes for this, guys. Like I said, like, share, and all that good jazz. So the fact sheets came out. They upgraded the upriver brights to 267, and since we're halfway through the run, I think they feel confident in that number. The good news about that is once it got over 200,000, our allowable impacts went from an 8% number to 15% number as far as management goes. Because once you get over 200,000, they allow us to harvest them at 15% versus 8%. Now I think they were managing the season to give us a couple more points pre run update, just because they felt confident, but the original forecast number I think was like 218, like it was, or 230, like it was over it. But you know the way the forecasting is kind of like predicting the weather sometimes, and you never know, right?
Yeah.
Case in point, last year's fall coho. Anyways.
Well, for those of you out there that don't know exactly what Cameron's talking about, from the Columbia Basin where we live out here in the Pacific Northwest, these fish have to get over a certain barrier point, which is how many river miles is Bonneville?
I think it's like 110.
And the reason for this is a lot of these fish are planted. A lot of them are hatchery driven, and they're planted in the upper reaches of the Columbia River in Idaho and northern eastern Washington, and those areas are mandated to get their fish back because they spend billions of dollars on producing those fish, and then we get really good at catching them down here and eliminate most of them. So
and there's conservation guidelines to all that. Like, you know, we can only impact Snake River wilds, you know, and there's other types of runs that go over Bonneville. So it's not just it's not just the number that goes over Bonneville. There's certain stocks that go over Bonneville, but the real important one, the one that's our constraining stock, the upriver brights. So it's looking really positive. It's looking good. Now, I will say we did have 3 days of fishing last weekend, which were probably some of the best fall Chinook fishing I've seen on the Columbia in a long time, maybe with the exception of 2014 and 15. Like when we had over 1 million fish come back to the river mouth. But things were really good. Things were really positive. I don't think we could have just smashed all those fish. I don't think we could have done anything too crazy. Some of the smoke and unfortunately, sadly, some of the fires did keep, I think, a few people off the water, you know, understandably. But they did also raise some of the upper reaches to a 3 Chinook limit from a 2 Chinook limit already.
Wow.
So I think everyone's been saying, the sport guys have been saying it for months that we have a bigger run than what, you know, just from us fishing out there every day. We kind of understood that we had a bigger run. Things are looking good. We'll see what happens. Yeah, last weekend was so good. A-Rob 454. Yeah, last weekend was freaking epic. So how about the openings upper the Columbia River? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Like I said, I know some of those areas up there. I'm not real familiar with those areas, up there, Patrick, but I know some of them are going to 3 fish. So I think we're looking real strong. So you know what, we'll see how it goes. So yeah, I mean,
what else have you been doing? You had the day off finally.
Day off, but we're getting ready to do some little fish. I did a little fishing this morning, got out there and made a few casts, but you know, I mean, it's getting ready to do some other projects.
I don't get why people are always so
next couple days
like, blown away when, you know, guys like you or I go fishing on our days off. It's like how often you just really get like the quiet, peaceful, relaxing set.
Yeah,
well,
you know, I mean, I wanted to go.
I love it. It's the best.
We have, you know, like we always talk about here at Addicted, and even with these twitching jigs or with our bobbers and with our steelhead jigs and anything that we use, like we always go out and test them. And I was testing some new stuff that maybe may work down the pipe later on, maybe not. We'll find out if it's successful or not. And you know, like we're always doing that. So yeah, when we take those days off, I mean, we're always dinking around with stuff and dinking around with, you know, we're learning too. Like these fisheries are changing fast. I mean, whether it be, you know, the type of techniques that we do, the amount of people that we have to encounter, like, so we're always learning, always trying to do something.
Yeah.
Real fast before we get into anything else, Clint, pick a winner, because I'm still seeing people chiming in with a whole bunch of stuff before we get too far. And I want you guys to win some of these tail out twitchers, which are going to be available in Walmart, Marlon?
Walmart. Bi-Mart.
Tail out twitchers. Bi-Mart.
Where else did you say?
Fisherman's Marine. Bob's. Sport Co.
You can also buy them on Mustad's website.
Sportsman's Warehouse. We got these suckers out everywhere, and you know what? And I always preach this, you know, whenever we're talking out here on Addicts, I know we got Groveland, New York. Is that our winner?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Why don't you put him up on the screen? Gerald. God, Gerald. Wow, I am tired.
Samsonite.
Gerald Swanson from Groveland, New York. You've won yourself a pair of Addicted Tail Out Twitchers. Be sure to email us at orders@addictedfishing, and be sure to tell us what you won. You won I'm just going to say these two. One's called a blurple, and the other one is just called a I don't know, pink and whitehead, but you can decide what you want to call them.
You can come up with that name for that
You
one.
won yourself a pair of the Addicted Twitching Jigs, and maybe you can find something to throw these at New York, because I plan on feeding one of these to a tuna on Friday.
Well, they can get Chinook. They got coho out there as well. I
Bring it
bet they
on.
could get a steelhead to bite
Feed
it.
it to them. Yep, and so
Lake
be sure,
trout?
Yeah, and Gerald, be sure to include your address at orders@addicted.fishing when you send us the email. We'll send them to you. But going back to we got a super chat right there. So saw the steelhead jigs and coho
Thank you
jigs at
so
Walmart
much,
the other
Forge
day.
to Table. Appreciate you,
Awesome.
man.
Yeah, Forge to Table, thank you for the super chat, and man, greatly appreciate that. And that's cool that he's seen him, because I haven't seen him yet, but I haven't been poking around too much.
I try not to go in Walmart these days.
They're
They're always bossing me around.
Now that they got the Addicted jigs, I'll probably be trying to
yeah.
get my stock up, because what I was getting to before we selected the winner for the super chat, a lot of these places and a lot of these retailers are getting their twitching jigs in right now if they're not already there. And what I preach every damn season before it gets into it, whether it's a 360 Super Series flasher, whether it's a steelhead jig, floats, bobbers, anything, go out there right now and get what you think you're going to want to get for the season. Because when the fish show up and people start fishing, they are gone. Mm-hmm. They are gone. And you won't be able to find them. So make sure you guys go and get your twitchers right now. A couple super chats here. What should I put in my tuna for super baits? Mason, there's a lot of different things you can put in there. I mean, honestly, when I'm running the super baits, I'll put the Addicted Salmon Blend oil in there, mix around. Anise Bloody Tuna is never a bad option. Just plain tuna works great too. So, I mean, honestly, it's just kind of pick your poison, experiment, try to be a little different from everybody else. They'll pay dividends.
Cameron's blood.
My blood? No, not my blood.
You drink that.
My blood. Dear God. Dave's Garage albacore fishing. Yes, we are going to try to get out there on the Big Blue this Friday and film some awesome albacore fishing. Hopefully it's awesome. But yeah, I do want to feed one of these twitching jigs to one just to say we did. But we'll see if it happens. So, stores already wiped out, George B. That would be pretty lame. But then it means you were too late. And
There must be fish in the river
I
where
can
you're
say
at.
right now, Fisherman's Marine
yeah,
is not wiped out.
Fisherman's Marine went deep on them this year, but
Fisherman's
but
Marine went
just like we say to go out and get them early, they're smart and they brought them in early. And guess what? They're not going to have a bunch of pissed off people going in there in about a month when the rains start to come looking for jigs. They're going to have them.
Yep.
That's good to hear. That's
Yep.
really good to hear. So Fisherman's Marine is going to be a good supply. They probably got a lot of the colors and the
They got
sizes.
all of them.
They got all of them. Perfect.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, so what you're going to find at Walmart and a lot of the other retailers, they're not going to have every single pattern. Walmart
Yeah.
only brought in like 5 or 6 colors, but they did bring in a lot of the good ones, like the Nightmare, the Blurple, a lot of the good colors.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I preach that with everything, whether it's our product or whether it's just those, like I said, those hot. I mean, right now, good luck finding a freaking short but Super Series flasher in a store. Like, good luck.
Yeah.
Like, unless JT's restocked them in the last day or two, they gone. Like, they're gone. Just the way it is. The good colored spinner blades, short but spinner blades, they're gone. So either way, congratulations, Gerald. Let's move on to one more little thing, because we see guys are still trying to guess the weight of that stupid fish. And I think that's so. What do you got there? Oh, sorry, Clint. I
Hold
thought
a
you were doing.
picture up, Clint. Let's just have Cam tell people what it was.
Yeah. Looks like I'm going to Fisherman's tomorrow. Good idea, Brady. Good idea. Yeah, so that fish was super cool, guys. For those of you that tuned in on Sunday night to the live feed, TLP Outdoorsman, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. We went out that morning and honestly just gave it to the fish. Lots of fish. Everyone was successful. I mean, I think if you put bear hooks in the water practically last week and you got them. So,
Oh, the
good
bear hook
times.
challenge.
What's that?
I said the bear hook challenge.
The bear could have done the bear hook challenge out there. No kidding. We're going to have to try that. There's just 2 red mustads behind there just to see if they'd snap at it. Shit, who knows? But,
Might be freaking fire, dude.
yeah, we might find something else out. We don't know. Got to try it.
Just kind of dial down the presentation,
That's right. That's right. Kind of subtle it out with a 360.
Yeah, exactly.
But you never know. Hey,
They might think it's krill.
Hey, look at Sockeye. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Sockeye like bear hooks. But either way, guys, so we went out there in the morning, got the client some fish, decided to save my punch for the afternoon, went out in the afternoon to do a little live fishing for you guys before we air The Addicted Life at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And man, we went out there, and I don't think I ever had a day where I had missed that many bites. I think we were getting a little too excited. I don't know what the hell was going on, but we were missing some bites. But finally, I think we lost a double, and then I got the lines back in the water. I put my hand down on my rod. We started trolling, and then we went like 10 feet and hooked a fish. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Usually I don't fight like any fish in the fall. Like, I mean, we're guides. Like, you know, we just get just as much joy and just as much, you know, like, I guess
it's their job.
Sense of accomplishment if my guy lands one. So, but I'm like, okay, I gotta take a try. I have to try to land a fish. We've just been running unlucky, and I'm not a pro, and I lose fish too. But I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this time because everyone else has had a chance and it didn't work.
I thought you reel all the fish in and make your clients tag.
That's right. I do reel all the fish in and make my clients tag. Clint, yeah, because once again, Clint knows what he's talking about. Anyways, oh wait, he doesn't. So anyway, I started fighting this fish, came right to the boat. Like a lot of, you know, when you hook a lot of fish on 360 flashers, super serious flashers, a lot of them like to run right to the boat. And, you know, so I kept up on him, saw him flash behind the boat, said, oh, saw the flash, saw it was a big fish. Just kind of, oh man, it's a big fish. And then it took off and went running. And we were going to just try to continue to troll, because if the fishing's so good, it's like, well, shoot, you hook one, you might as well hook his buddies too. Fish ran out to like 250, got into my backing even. So we reeled all the rods in, put it in reverse, chased him, got him in. Mike Kaplan netted him, big fish. There you go. And it was like, I think the only fish I really reeled in this fall. I mean, I don't think I have reeled in another one. And so, yeah. Anyways, the fish, we didn't have a scale. So we had to go by tape, and the tape was 43 by 25, so it came out at 34.6 pounds, and some gal got it. Did you already give her?
No, all email, all message.
So Marlon, do you remember who it was? No. But it was like the 10th guess on that post. She nailed it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. My guess is someone went through the scale and figured it out. But either way, she guessed it dead nuts, and it was like literally the 10th guess on the post. So she won the prize pack, but it was 34.6 according to the tape. I don't know. I think it was like 40 all day. No, I'm just kidding. It was nowhere close to 40.
What's funny about it being 34.6 is when as soon as it hit the deck, everyone was like, "Oh my God, how big is it?" Everyone has an idea or thinks they know how big it is, and you said, "Oh, it's mid-30s." It's the first thing you said as soon as it hit the box. So you knew you'd seen enough of them where you knew.
Yeah, it was. Either way, it was a super nice fish, and like I said, that was it. And we did it live on our YouTube. Completely live. So we're gonna have to do that if we see some fishing like we did that last week. And I think I'm gonna pop in and go live a lot more, maybe even with some clients over the next couple weeks, because that run is.
I'm sure they'd love it.
Oh, that run's just incredible. So yes, sir. And thank you so much, TLP Outdoorsman, for the other super chat. Keep the catch and cook series. Oh my gosh. Catch and cook series going, guys.
This is why we were late, guys. We're tired.
We
worn out.
plan on it. We got a lot more coming, and hopefully a lot more different species coming this weekend.
Well, especially coming this fall. Man, fall is a whole new season. That's kind of how we design, how we build these catch and cooks in our own minds. And for you guys, is it's very seasonal. We live with the seasons with what we eat, so each season we'll be coming out with new catch and cooks. So
bunch of mushroom stuff coming.
Yeah, do not forget to share those out there, especially even if the people you're sharing them to don't care about fishing or anything like that. They like cooking, if they like eating good food, you're gonna want to check it out.
A lot of salmon. We gotta do a lot of different salmon recipes too. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of opportunity there, and
I'm just excited to go eat all this seafood this weekend.
No. I know. Well, let's talk. Yeah, I mean, shoot, because
what are we doing?
We're gonna do a little tuna fishing.
You set it up.
Yeah,
I sure appreciate it.
I already ratted it out, but we were gonna do a little tuna fishing on Friday. But I think tomorrow there's some clam tides. There's some good crabbing.
I'm so jealous.
There's some rockfish. There's some coho coming in. There's a lot of opportunity.
Was clamming on today too?
Yeah, I heard it was
30-minute limits. I heard.
Yeah,
one of my friends that lives down there just posted it.
Yeah, just as silly. Oh, I mean, you think about it, though. We lost a bunch of those clam digs to COVID. So, you know, because this outdoor recreation stuff really spreads it. That's a little sore subject with me. I'm not going to get into it. But regardless, we lost a lot of dates from that. So those clams have been unharassed and uncaught for like the last
They don't even know what's about.
They don't even know what's coming.
They're probably they're actually probably a lot bigger.
Yeah.
When's the last time you went an entire 6 months I mean, in 100 years, where they didn't get the clam, unless there was some kind of crazy red tide
Like
or
red tide or something. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when's the last time the clams just sat out there and grew for an extra 6 months? It could actually be pretty cool.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, a lot of, like, you know, I don't clam that often. I'm going to take the opportunity and do it tomorrow and film you guys a couple catch and cooks. But the ones that I saw that people were posting all looked like good-sized ones. I mean, I know what a, you know, decent razor. So, should see how it goes. Yep, Cam's fish on Sunday was an Oregon 40 easy.
Oregon 40?
Oregon 40.
I know, I was jealous. That was a cool fish.
I accidentally clammed a prohibited beach. Well, don't do that too often.
At least you're honest.
I got my clam limit today in Long Beach. Any advice for beginners? I'll be taking my son and haven't caught anything. Well, what are you fishing for? I got several twitching jigs and flashers of Ridgefield of addicted fishing. Awesome. Oh yeah, Ridgefield. Is Ridgefield bringing in some of the twitchers?
Oh yeah, Ridgefield.
Yeah, Ridgefield. Yep.
They
Good
have
place,
our
too.
worms,
They have our worms too. Well, yeah. Like I said, if you're going to be steelhead fishing this January, get your damn worms now. While you have all the colors and everything to pick from. Don't be that guy crying in February when you can't find them. Do a clam and surf perch catch and cook, stir fry style. I don't know if we were planning on stir fry, but we were planning on surf perch too. See what happens. We'll see. We gotta catch them first before we cook them. So you know. Yep. You guys should go to Alaska. What do you think of that? I think we should go to Alaska too. You think you should go to Alaska? Have you ever been?
I wouldn't mind going to Alaska. I've been thinking about it a lot lately,
We were
actually.
just talking about that.
Yep, moments ago.
Yep.
Well, what's next on the docket tonight? I know we got we kind of covered all the updates. We've talked numbers.
Yep.
Let's start shooting some questions at us, guys. You got some great questions. We're kind of jumping all over the place here. If you have any more catch and cook ideas, drop them in there. Doesn't hurt to leave a little bit of a super chat with it. But we're gonna talk
Ask
a little.
people about the White Claw, what they thought of it.
Yeah, what did you guys? Let's see some comments as we go through the night with what you guys thought of the White Claw videos. I mean, it was good. I don't know if anybody out there, I'm sure there has been some people that tried it. I got even a few messages from some clients of mine that tried it and said hands down was some of the best fish and chips they'd ever made had. I mean, it really does add a really neat flavor to the dish. But let us know if you guys like those videos.
Well, the lemon's not really sweet in a White Claw. And I'll admit I've drank a White Claw now, and they are wonderful.
Now he's killing Sixers.
Just not killing Sixers and White. There ain't no laws. Oh
I saw
gosh.
the stupid
He's
comments
shotgunning
like,
him.
your man cards are taken away if you're drinking.
Right. That's what I was referring to. I was like, I don't know.
How about if I'm cooking with it? Is my man card taken away even more?
yeah, fine. I guess.
Yeah.
But it's not real sweet.
Cooking only for the ladies.
It's got a good lemon flavor, and you
I
get
like
the
to cook.
carbonation you get for the beer batter.
The lime one, I will
would
say, we have to do this. You have to do it while we're down here. Like, save one, just like, do the normal boil, but then we'll reboil it again in the lime flavor. It's next level.
Wait, boil what?
The crabs. You know how you like a lot of people will add like an amber ale or something to the crab while they're boiling the crabs and the rock salt. Some dudes in Alaska used to always do it. They pour like 3 Alaskan ambers in with the crab while
good waste of Alaskan amber.
It is, but it really adds a nice flavor to it. It's like it's just another seasoning. Yeah. But as soon as I poured it in there with a little bit of water, it was just like you could just smell it. It tingled the nostrils. It was delicious though. You could actually you could really taste it, and it was delicious.
What we should do, what I like to do is I don't like to boil like all the whole like the halves or the holes. I'll like steam them, but I bet if you're smelling that stuff, I bet it'll. Yeah, I mean lemon's always good on seafood.
Yep.
Lime.
That's what gave me the idea. And I saw somebody post a picture with a steelhead next to a White Claw, and I was like, we should do something like that.
Dude, it's got to be good. The next beer batter I'm definitely doing that.
See. Is the batter? Yeah, it's the same as any beer batter once you cook it down.
Yeah, I cooked down the alcohol. I'm sure you're fine.
Tried the White Claw with red rockfish, and it was good. I had to.
Wait, did someone? Oh, I tried the White.
Then I had to dump the rest of the White Claw. All right, Phil. Boy, Phil. That's all right.
But I had to dump it. Yeah, right. You drank it.
Yes.
Come on. you can allow. Joaquin, best time to go out with me to crab. We'll talk about that again, but usually we'll all run a lot of dedicated crab trips in November. So
If the Columbia
But
stays
it'll be good
open,
now.
never.
Yeah, yeah, right. As long as the Chinooks are snappy like that, we've got November and December to crab, bud.
Yeah.
And they're a little fuller too. The longer you get into the season, the longer you wait, the more full the crabs get as well. So even though the crabbing is good now, they can be really good in November and December. So, yes, sir.
Yeah. But we got sidetracked
Sturgeon.
again.
I know.
What-
Clint
what are
wanted
we
me to
talking
answer the
about?
sturgeon. There's so much to talk about right
There
now.
is. Everybody's just happy to
Yeah,
be
there
here.
is a sturgeon opener too, real fast. One all power lines up from the Columbia River. Last week, Charles got into a couple good ones, and some guys.
I saw a lot
some
of
good
people bleeding their fish on
Yeah.
the way back to the boat ramp
Right there's
after catching salmon. I mean, like a dozen boats. I saw big stringers of sturgeon. I can't believe they're hanging them off with all the seals and stuff. But there was sturgeon all
Shark
over the
food,
place,
shark
which is
food.
pretty neat.
Yeah. So for tips, as far as that goes, I mean, I don't really have none. I didn't fish it. We fished salmon. The guys that I were talking to, I think a big mix of baits. Sand shrimp, anchovies, herring, squid. I think I didn't hear of anything really out producing the others. One tip that I always have for the sturgeon fishing too, it's like, if you're not in a productive area, you're not seeing a lot of fish caught, don't be afraid to move a little bit. Generally I'm always a mover when I'm going to sturgeon fishing, so if I'm not getting bit 20 30 minutes, 3 4 5 rods out, I'm moving. I think, but sometimes they don't want to bite on certain tides, and sometimes they only want to bite on the outgoing, and that just depends. But I'd move around.
I
a
can't
little
sit
bit,
in
try
one
to
spot
find 'em.
sturgeon fishing.
No.
Unless you're nailing them. It just drives me nuts.
Nope,
But that's just me. I like rafting, so.
There you go. Yep. And last thing before we start talking about tributary bobber fishing, 24 Go Fast Work Camel. Good, because it didn't work for me. Just kidding. My longest river fight yesterday, caught a 20-pound Chinook on a bead and 12-pound leader. Ended up 300 yards downriver and soaking wet. Got the meat, though. Awesome, Mitch.
Well
Congratulations.
done, Mitch.
Let's talk some tributary boober fishing. Boober fishing. I brought one thing. We always talk about this time of year and fishing a little light and fishing a little different. So I brought in one of my favorite rigs today, because this rig that I like to fish, guys, is a real versatile rig. Works really good for eggs, and it works really good for a lot of different depths. A lot of time when we think bobber fishing, or bobber dogging, it's like, oh, we gotta have, it's gotta be 10 foot deep, and it's gotta be this depth, and if it's not, then it's just not gonna work, and blah blah blah. So most of the time, guys will go out to like the runs, some of these holes, and they'll fish this 20-30 foot deep stuff, with like a 1 ounce or 2 ounce bobber, and then they'll go fish the shallow stuff. They'll use like an addicted, fixed float jig, or addicted fixed float for whatever they're using for. But there's kind of like that middle ground, right? Where you have moving water, you have water that
You gotta get down,
you gotta get
but
down.
you gotta be stealthy.
Gotta be stealthy, gotta get down, but I don't necessarily want to like bobber dog, because I think there's some really good subtle action to just letting the eggs like kind of wash down a riffle and then float through the hole. And I don't want to be changing my stuff like all the time. Like I don't want to have to be just perfect. So if you're gonna fish, so right now, with the way at least the river I've been fishing on, water's real low, water's real clear, like everywhere. A lot of these coho aren't necessarily, they're either sitting in like the deepest, darkest, kind of most terrible holes, and they're trying to get into bites real tough, or they're fishing in riffles and runs. I mean, they're acting like some steelhead. And so what we were using last week, guys, is a simple setup here that I really like to use, because it's really versatile when when you're going from a spot that might be only like inches deep and might be tailing out and might be going into a hole that's maybe like 4 or 5 feet deep, and you want to fish it all the way through. Like you want to fish it top to bottom. You don't want to have to be doing a lot of adjusting, and you don't want to have to be doing all of that. I don't necessarily want to bobber dog, because I don't necessarily think that dragging the bait real slow on the bottom is what the fish want.
Side note of that, exactly. I feel like bobber dogging is a very much more prevalent in a winter scenario where you have a lot of water, or a mid to late fall where you have a lot of water and you need to slow your presentation down. I feel like this time of year, for the next month, even if we do get rain, coho and most Chinook too almost do not want the bait on the bottom. It's better to almost be suspended in the hole on your first few drifts than it is to go under the fish and spook them with the liner, especially in a clear scenario.
Yeah.
So like Cameron's saying,
and when you're bobber dogging too, you got like a bigger lead. You're purposely trying to drag the bottom, and I don't think it's just necessary.
no, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Yeah.
So real fast. So this is one of my favorite little rigs for fishing like this time of year. And like I said, the versatility and the efficiency about it, I think, makes it kind of what it is. And I even brought a little bit of this salmon candy here, so we can talk about that and putting it on the hook and showing you guys a couple different ideas and different tricks for doing that. But what I like to start with here, you guys, obviously, you know, most of our bobber rods, if you guys have watched our live feeds and you've watched any of our videos, you know, we like to start with a little longer rod, you know, 9.5 foot, 10.5 foot bobber rod, fast action. You know, we use the Akuma Guide Select Pros just because, like I said, the action on them is really good. It's got a really fast action. When you set the hook, you know, the whole rod doesn't just bend to the fish. It actually, oops, there we go. It actually has some backbone, so you can set the hook through the bobber, pick up all the slacks up there. You guys kind of heard all that before, and if you haven't, go to the YouTube channel and watch some of the videos on that. And then we start with 30-pound tough line, just our good braided float line that we would use, you know, just for our steelhead fishing or anything like that. A lot of times, the cohos and the stuff that we're catching, you know, they're not going to be 30 and 40 pounds. So just, you know, using your basic steelhead rod with, like I said, that 30-pound tough line will get away with it all day long. Now, what I'll do is I'll start with my setup by just putting a bobber stop up the line, and I'm not going to run it up the line any kind of distance. I'm just going to stick it just up the line a little foot, and I always have my little cheater indicator. Go to the side cam there, Clint. Let me see here. There we go. Get rid of this here so it doesn't blow it out anymore. What I like to do, guys, so I have my bobber stop right there, up the tough line. I'm not going to put any kind of bumper or any kind of mono bumper on that. I don't really need it because where my bait's going to be is going to have enough leader, so it's not that I need to be that stealthy, but it's just the fact that the bait is going to be about 6 foot away from any of this stuff, so it's not like it's going to be getting in the way. Bobber stop, bead. Right here is just my indicator bead, and why I like to put that one up there is just because if that's tangled and anything's not right, that will be sitting off of it. It'll be sitting like that in the water, versus if this is being pulled down correctly and it's the bait is fishing correctly, the way it's going to be pulling that down, it's going to be pulling that corky tight on top of the bobber, and it's basically when I cast it out, it's going to let me know that that's fishing correctly. Then what I'm going to do is I just have a little egg sinker here, and I just match or get really close to the size of the bobber that I'm using, right? So this is a 1/2 ounce, this is a little 1/2 ounce egg sinker. Actually, I believe this is a 3/8 ounce egg sinker, but like I said, I'm close. I don't have to be that exact, especially for this setup, just because this is going to be drifting down the river, and if fish decides to take this, it's going to pull that bobber under pretty quick. Like, you're going to notice the bite pretty easily. And one thing that I like to put the little egg sinker on here for, versus like something that's fixed, is just for castability. And when I'm casting it out, this is just going to sink down to the depth of that bobber stop if I do any adjustments of it. So if I do take this rig and I'm going down the run and I'm fishing it, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now I'm in a 10 or 12 foot hole. If I really wanted to fish suspended, I could absolutely still fish suspended with this by sliding that up the line. And then this egg sinker is just going to sink down like anything else. So once I do that, I've got a little protector bead right there below the egg sinker, because this is going to be smashing down onto that swivel a lot. And then I've got a little size 7 swivel right there. Now here's where like kind of the rubber meets the road with this setup and why it makes it so efficient. So what I have between this swivel, do we have some super chat here?
Yeah.
Oh, seeing Jordan slaying the hose last week, they're in.
Thank you, Michael.
The hose. So what we're going to do here is from this swivel down to another swivel right here, I've got about 3 or 4 feet of line. And what's important about putting this other swivel in here is on that line, I want to make sure that this line is like a grade heavier than the liters that I'm running. So for instance, this is 15-pound fluorocarbon and I'm running 10-pound leader because honestly that's all I really need right now with how clear the water is. And honestly, you know, catching cohos and jacks in the riffle, I don't need anything more than a 10-pound test. But for this upper line between the swivel and the bobber, I've got 15. So I've got about 3 or 4 feet of that. And then I've got my split shot. And now my split shot is sitting on that heavier line above another size 7 swivel. And what's important about this is that as you're fishing this egg setup through these runs and you're casting this out, those damn split shots, no matter how much you crimp on your line and no matter how much you do, they love to move around. They love to slide down towards your bait. They love to damage your line, especially if you put them on the lighter lines. You know, eventually, if you crimp them too hard, it's gonna, like I said, you're gonna put some damage there. You're gonna break off. You're gonna lose some fish. So what I do is I put that little swivel right there with that lead, and then all the way down, I got another section of about 2.5 feet of line to my hook. Having that, and then this is the, like I said, the lighter line. This is the leader line. Why this is important is because when I cast this bobber out and it runs down the riffle, this weight is going to be light enough to where it's going to be able to run along the bottom and not get hung up. I'm not trying to drag the bait. I'm not trying to run the bait like a bobber dogging setup. I'm just trying to get as much of a natural drift as I can, but I still need to have some kind of weight on there to sink that beta eggs down to where the fish are going to be. And yeah, it might only be a 2-foot riffle, it might be a 3-foot riffle, but when those riffles fan out into the holes and it's getting into that 4 and 5 and 6-foot depth, that seems right now to be where a lot of the fish are hiding. They're hiding under, you know, slightly broken water, you know, in the typical seams and stuff that we're going to get. But this little split shot on there is going to be just enough weight to keep that beta eggs down on the bottom, but then just rolling along softly enough, and then when it fans out into a deeper hole, it's going to suspend those eggs and hopefully get a strike. Now, I adjust this split shot. I do adjust this split shot size, kind of depending on like how heavy a water I'm fishing, or maybe like the size of the river. So for instance, I'm fishing big water, need to cast far, you know, depths are changing, it's running fast. I will, you know, run this split shot up a little bigger, but a lot of times all you need is the one size that's like a little bigger than a BB. You wouldn't have too much trouble keeping that bait down. And then I got the hook. Let's see here. So what do we got here for questions on this stuff? Oh, I wouldn't say I'm giving out all the secrets, Eric, but this rig definitely gets it done, especially in these conditions right now.
I saw a couple of comments like, yeah, right, my river's not clear where I'm at, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
It's more or less the low water situation. Coho are always going to, not even clear. This setup goes beyond clear. It's the style of water and the versatility of water
right now,
that you're covering with this.
Right now, I'm catching fish that are looking for cover. And they're holding in cover. They're holding under broken water. They're holding in moving water. There's not a lot of that right now, at least where I'm fishing. And so,
or where anybody's fishing, you're gonna have to convince me otherwise that your river has enough water to be moving. You know, in most spots that you're allowed to fish.
Yeah.
As we all know, most rivers, most places, these fish are going to be pushed down into the lower echelon, unless it is some sort of tailwater fishery. They're going to be pushed down into the lower parts of the rivers.
Dude, that flow like pretty gnarly all the time.
Yeah, I mean, but even then, if they are flowing gnarly all the time, but the water's clear and the fish are hanging down, like I said, it just seems like, you know, and this honestly, this setup works really good for steelhead too. You know, if you have fish that are holding in that transition water between the riffle and the holes, dude, this setup gets it done. Now, you know, like I said, as I'm going down the river and I do want to fish suspended, I can just slide the line up. I can fish suspended, and I'll still have 6 foot of, I won't have as much control in the deeper holes as like the guys do that when you're running like a 1 ounce and like a 3 foot leader. You know what I mean? You won't have as much control, you know, as far as where exactly your bait is, like if you're trying to pick on like a Chinook hole. But ultimately, like when you're going down those riffles and you're just moving, you're just trying to cover a lot of different water, I can't think of and know of a better setup, honestly. So, that's
What's the bead on your hook for? Just to be able to grab it to open up the...
Oh yeah, so we're going to talk about attaching eggs because we had a lot of questions on that last time. And I got a little paper plate. I'm going to try to put that swivel right there. Perfect. Boom. Boom. Can you guys see that? Nope, they can't. Hold on. I'm going to break this, aren't I? I'm going to break our epic side cam. There we go.
So
All right. All right. So let's talk some eggs, guys. So, you know, from our past live feeds, we're talking about how a lot of the eggs that we cure over here on the west side, we like the skeined eggs. We don't generally do a lot of single egg or loose egg fishing, you know, with the spawn sacks until a little later on in the year. However, you know, if you tie them into spawn sacks now, it's not a bad idea, especially if you got a lot of smolts, you got a lot of little stuff around that are going to pick on your eggs. But as you can see here, a lot of my eggs. Let's go ahead and get a nice, good close-up of that because those just look, oh my god. Don't those look good? Jordan, you hungry? Want some sushi? You're all into eating.
I already ate enough of those today on accident.
I was gonna say, you're all into eating a lot of this crap these days. There you go.
Oh yeah, all kinds of crap I'm eating.
All kind of fish. Let's see.
Smoking a lot of fish. Let's just say that.
But as you guys can see, there's a membrane there that's holding a lot of those together. Yeah, these eggs are fishy. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut these into like about quarter sizes. But when I do, I always want to be able to see like the membrane. And as I'm cutting them, I always want to make sure that I have a little bit of that membrane kind of holding the baits of eggs that I want. Now, when I cured these, I cured them in big chunks like this because I can always cut them a little smaller. But I can't make them bigger. And like I said, there might be a time, there's definitely be a time in year where I'll use a bait that big. You know, the water comes up real high, if I'm Chinook fishing. I mean, using a bait that big is not uncommon around here. But like I said, you can always make them smaller. You can't make them bigger. Super chat, quick question. What is the keeper size for sturgeon? Found out that it is open on Saturday. Eddie, I believe it's the 44 to 50 inch fork length. Just, you know, always check your local regulations, blah, 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 blah. Yep. And above Wana power lines to Bonneville Dam. Fork length, 44 to 50 inches. Thank you for the super chat. Okay. Now what? Let's see here. Dude, where did you get those scissors and what brand are they? These are the Gerber scissors. I cannot remember the Gerber. What are these called? What's called? Neat Freak scissors.
No, those aren't Neat Freak. He's using the.
No, Neat Freaks are.
He's using the cut your fingers.
Oh shit! I can't remember.
Are they in here? Hold on, let me look.
But these have like you can attach them and you have a bait knife. I forget, and I'm terrible. Once you guys sell out must-have floats, what are the best alternatives? Oh, real fast, I wanted to talk about the float that I use since it's just a sliding float. I really have come to like those Bomac clear float. What is it called? Processor, okay. The processor is the name of the scissors. But I'm just using the Bomac clear floats. I don't know what they're called, but that's a sliding float, guys. So if we're using a fixed float, you know, obviously we're going to be using the addicted fixed floats. But for this setup, it's really convenient to use a sliding setup. So let's see here.
Someone asked, is the clear float important versus like?
What do you think?
Yes.
Think the clear float's important?
I switched to one the other day and started doing better. No. Going on. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, like, just a couple days ago, I got at a good little vantage point in my boat and was casting at a pot of fish, and I watched them all absolutely run away from my bobber. They were suspended. They weren't sitting down on the bottom. They were up about 6 to 7 feet off of the bottom, just hovering, basically, swimming in a circle, kind of creating their own little current. And ran that bobber down through there and watched them just absolutely scatter with my bobber stop set at 6 inches, using mostly my leader. I mean, they definitely saw it. And I can't say that putting a clear one on is going to make it so they can't see it. But a little bit stealthier presentations do help sometimes. So
I just kind of look at it like, okay, every little bit might help. It might only help 5%, but it might be the 5% you need one day. But so I don't know. I've been playing with them, played with them a lot, steelhead last year. found good success for them when I needed a slided float.
I like the
sliding
shape
float.
and the weight of them more is why I'm using
Yeah.
them for sure. Just like kind of like what you're insinuating.
Yeah, castability, durability worked really well too. And like I said, guys, that's just I don't know. Like, I don't really. I mean, just to be honest with you, like I liked how they performed, but I don't really buy the clearness because when the fish looks up, they're still the silhouette. And they paint white and they're red, and I don't. So
Yep.
I don't know, but
I still think that you can see that bobber from underwater as good as you could see a normal blue and
right,
yellow
or
bobber.
a black or a gray one.
Yep,
I mean,
it still is a profile. You know, I guess there's leaves
Yeah.
and stuff floating down. Ooh, maybe that's what we need to start doing.
It's all
Making
about
bobbers that are like look like leaves. Or
Maybe we need to paint like
You know what
some
I
that
mean?
are blue. Like I used to. So I swear to God, like those cork bobbers.
sky blue.
Yeah, I used to paint the bottom of some sky blue. I'm talking. This is back in like high school
Cork days? Cork floats?
Cork float
Oh,
days.
I love cork
Sky
float.
blue and then gray, and I had my overcast ones and I had my bright daylight ones. What? What? Come
That's
on.
awesome.
Needless to
Isn't
say,
it all just about
I love
the
me a
river
cork
to
float.
give it?
yeah. Don't you just use the
Yeah,
bobbers
just
that you
use whatever
find?
Yeah, the river giveth. I can't say I bought many bobbers lately. No.
Yeah. I believe it's the 44 to 50 inches. I saw that sturgeon question come up.
Yeah, 44 to 50.
Yeah,
is it?
54, 44 to 50.
44 to 50.
So, all right, guys. So I've cut my baits. Let's talk about a little bit about baits. I cut them into my little circles here. My little circles. My little nickels, quarter size baits.
Oh,
Now, one thing I like to do, especially if I'm going to do a lot of egg fishing, is I've got my standard egg loop knot, but before I ran it finally through the eye as I finished the knot, I put a little red bead right there. That little red bead is super nice for when you're constantly having to rebait eggs. Instead of like trying to push it down, or if it gets all gummed up and gets all grossed up, all you got is this little red bead, and you can just like literally just pull it out with your hands. And like I said, it's one of those things that you absolutely do not need to have, but it's kind of nice if you think about it when you're tying leaders to just add a little red bead into that loop, and it works actually really well. And I'll maybe be able to demonstrate that here in a second. What I'm going to do for those of the guys, I've got my little bit of eggs. I'm trying to like make it to where it's in focus here. It's really not wanting to do it. Damn good idea. Awesome tip. Such a nice tip. Trust me, I know it seems kind of silly. It's like, it's just a stupid little red bead, but trust me, you'll love it. Take your hooks and go right through the dead nuts middle of that largest piece of skein that's going to be on there. On your hook. Oops. Damn, you guys cannot see that. I'm trying to make this where you can. Hang in there. And then run. Take your little bead. Push your eggs up on that. And you can run it around the bait and try to grab as much of that skein as you can with that line. And then suck that bait of eggs up tight to the egg loop. Oh my god. That's death. That's like game over. Fish should just quit. Fish should just quit. Hold it closer to the plate cam. Okay.
There you go.
Sorry.
Super focused
Also keeps the line from cutting through the eggs. The eggs last longer. Yes, I would agree, Ted. No, if I'm using a lot of egg fishing, I will definitely have those little red bobber saw beads. Perfection. That's it. Now, a couple things you guys can do. So then, the fish bites it, blah, 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 rips it off, gums it up. I'm going to take these off because there's something that I want to add, especially when I'm running this setup. And like I said, I'm trying to be efficient. I'm trying to run through the run. I'm trying to fish through everything. Jordan, grab me. What's going on? Oh, real fast, Jordan, grab me that steelhead jar of eggs and pop me off one of those little rubber eggs. Because there's one thing on here that I want to talk about, because we talk about being
Oh,
a
you're
fisher.
breaking out the dirty treats.
Ooh, hold on. These ones.
You are giving away secrets.
Ooh, dude, I would never talk about this.
Listen to how lame you guys are being right now.
There you go.
Like,
We're
really, you
trying to
never
be
talk
on
about
purpose.
putting a rubber
Oh
egg.
man, that looks good.
Alright, give me that stupid thing.
I think it just caught my eye.
Oh my god.
Might not even need to fish it.
I just ate it.
Oh,
You're
Damn
pissing
it.
off so many fishing guys right now.
Oh my
You're taking their
gosh.
business.
Oh my god.
You're taking bread off their kids' table.
Insane. That, you guys
Food
are
out of their mouth.
You guys are idiots. So here's the deal: you can have one or the other. And if I tie this leader up, and if I'm going to be drifting the riffles for this bobber setup with eggs, catching a lot of jacks, catching a lot of small fish, whatever, if you have a little bit of color up there, and you're not going to be able to push this above the bead, so we're going to write that off right now. But if you have, I'm going to try to, just to give you guys the idea.
You can get it over. It'll work.
Really it tore it.
Oh.
Bottom line is,
need a bigger
let
egg.
me see the steelhead eggs. Just let me show these guys this.
A lot of them?
And here's why. So what's one thing, so if you take a steelhead egg, right, and you have these up your line before you do the final hookup, and even if you don't, or even if you don't run this bead, having that little bit of color above your eggs, like especially when you're drifting down the run, is super critical, because what's going to happen to this bait of eggs, the second a jack or the second a fish hits it or the second a smolt hits it or something, or trout, and they rip those eggs off, what happens to that bait?
You don't eat out looking.
Yeah, it turns into skein. It turns white, and it just kind of drags loose, and you have basically a little piece of snot on there. That's pretty much what it's going to look like, right? If you have a little piece of snot on there and you have that nice color sitting above it, if you have that steelhead egg sitting above it, it looks incredible, and it still will fish all the way through the run. So if you're moving down the riffle, and you're bouncing down the run, you can go back to Maine.
Where's the
If you're
egg?
bouncing down the
I
run,
don't even see the steelhead egg above.
because I have the bead on there, so you have to do this all pre. If you have this, if you use the little egg bead, you understand what I'm saying? He doesn't.
I thought I saw you slide it up the line.
I tried to get it over the bead, it didn't work. It just ripped.
Oh.
But you guys get the idea, right? To have a little extra color, a little extra yarn, even a little extra anything in there, really helps, because, like I said, when you cast at the top of the riffle and you're trying to get down to the bottom, and a bunch of little trout or a bunch of smolts or jack beats up that bait up top, you still want to have a little bit of color. You have the scent. You've probably got the taste of those eggs still in that skein. When it's running down that run, having that little extra color, having that steelhead egg on top of that pays dividends, because you're not going to have to rebait in the middle of the run. And I would rather have a bait going through with a little bit of color and a little bit of skein than nothing at all when it's going through the run. So something that's super, I don't know, I think it's critical enough to where I have it on every single one of my steelhead drift eggs, or every single one of my drifting egg leaders. I'm getting rid of this. Oh no, not. Yeah, to where, like I said, it definitely doesn't hurt. And then, of course, as always, like we talked about with the steelhead jigs, like you can also flavor those eggs. You can put anise on them, any kind of fish oil, salmon oil.
Always. I don't have a single jar that smells normal. If you know what I'm saying.
Ever used a spawn sack? Great Lakers use them a lot, and I have recently. Same shape as the skein, but lasts longer. Only thing, it sits below the hook.
Sometimes might be a good thing.
Michael Coleman, I love the fact that everybody in the Northwest fishes nothing but beads right now, because spawn sacking is one of my favorite things to do, where it's applicable and legal to do, where you can use bait. And if you want to take the time to make your spawn sacks, yes, this setup would work fantastic with a spawn sack as well.
I feel like that's what I need to do.
Where did you get your little spawn sack maker tool thing?
A shot glass?
Yeah. Shot glass.
Shot glass.
Duh.
Well, I had that other one, but a shot glass works pretty good. Just use a shot glass.
I use like a little ramekin.
So I mean, but like I said, but you got to be willing to spend the time and make yourself up a bunch of spawn sacks. It takes a little practice to do that too, and it is what it is. But I'll tell you that, and 95% of you guys won't do it, so I don't really care.
Fact.
I'm one of them.
Oh, there you go.
I'll just keep slapping them eggs on.
Keep slapping them eggs on.
Yeah.
Keep getting stripped in the first half of the run. Not even fishing the second half.
Yeah, yeah.
Guy right below
Well,
you get. Guy right below
they
you
don't
gets
bite
them
till
all.
I get there, anyways.
Yep. Yeah. So all right, let's do some questions here, and let's get going in here a little bit. Just because, like I said, I got the eggs out here, got the hooks, got the easy eggs. I'm gonna put a new pair of gloves on because those got really grody, and I don't have any way to rinse. We need a sink in here.
Yes.
Won't that be out? We have a bait lab.
Why can't Marlon just get a nicer home? I know. Well, are we gonna stick on the eggs? Are we gonna keep
we
talking a
need
couple
to
more
talk
egg things?
about-
I was gonna say, what would be the second rod? You're bank fishing. You went to the river this morning. Did you take one rod?
No,
Exactly.
I took a twitching rod.
Yeah. So, once again, now, and you're gonna always bait fish
wait.
first.
Hold on.
Move on.
I'm gonna cut you off.
Go. That's fine.
I apologize.
I'm used to it.
I know. We talked about this. But we do need to do that second giveaway.
Yep, second giveaway right
We
now.
almost
man.
got 1,000 of you guys watching, so we got to find a good question. What's that going to be, Marlon? We got another set of the
Marlon
Addicted
ain't
Chaos
here.
Twitchers.
Marlon.
I mean, Clint. Good question, Clint. Come on, Clint. Let's hear a good question. Come on. What you got, bud? You guys can see the length of that.
Easy
stuff
enough.
there.
Have you ever caught a salmon, steelhead, trout on a twitching jig?
Fair enough. How many of you guys?
Yes or
let us
no?
know. Let us know if you're gonna get into it. You've done it before, wanting to learn.
Yes or no? And if
Never
yes, say the fish that you caught with that.
Sure. There you go. Only answer one time too, because this
Yeah.
is gonna go nuts.
We got a 1 ounce tail out twitcher. We got a 3/4 ounce tail out twitcher, and then we're gonna give you throw in a little bottle of water soluble. I can't talk either. It's a long day.
We've been fishing
The
too
water
long.
soluble fish oil sand shrimp to go with these, which works really good. If you guys haven't ever done that,
No.
we have a few
Wow.
people that we know that really like to scent their twitching jigs, and the water soluble on this stuff is next level.
It's like-
you can use some
How
powders.
many no's there are?
There's it must be because we got a lot of people not tuning in from the Northwest, so we might
Yeah.
have to talk about some twitching jigs right
Exactly.
now.
I am so excited for you guys in the Midwest to start figuring out that those fall Chinook that you get and all those coho that you get are from here, and they love to chase these jigs. I know they've
here?
really caught on with the blade baits. I've heard a lot of our good friend Oliver and some of the other videos I've seen on YouTube from you guys fishing out there in the Midwest and some of those estuary areas. You use those blade baits and you're jigging for these fish.
I
But
want to try that in some of those places where you fish, Cam. Why couldn't you hover over those fish in blade bait? That's how they catch them in Michigan, and they destroy them. Jigging blade baits. Why wouldn't that work?
I don't know. Could be something.
it could have you had the right
definitely
fish, but it's just like you said, in the same area you're talking about, you've never caught a fish on a K-14 that wasn't wrapped. It's just like metal or not. It seems like some of them just won't take it first. I heard that.
I've
I
never
literally
done
told that
What
story.
are you talking about?
Lies.
I gotta get rid of all these little eggs here. Here you go. I'm gonna set them on your side. Just kidding.
I lost track of these comments.
Dave's Garage, thank you so much for the $5 super
Yes,
chat. We
thank
just
you,
saw
Dave's.
it. Much appreciated. Try to get the desk all cleaned up so I don't have to sit here and. You know what these eggs do like.
They look good. I got eggs in my mouth so many times today. It was
so
really
gross.
pissing me off.
I love
Oh,
that
it's
winter
the worst.
steelheading and
And they were really like musky, like setting them up a lot, and they had some sulfite, and it was just like
oil on it.
just
too.
like,
This is-
oh man, you taste it for hours.
My favorite is when I have my
terrible.
thermos of coffee and you're
Oh, yeah.
coffee all day.
There's
And,
eggs in
then
them.
like all of a sudden you're hover fishing, doing everything. Take a sip and at the bottom you just see that little red pearl and you're like, son of a.
Mine always sit there on the rim. They're like where I touch my coffee cup or something.
Oh,
and it's like, man. Anyways, twitching jigs. So, going to the river, we're going to take that first setup, and I'm almost always, you can talk about a little bit, maybe a bead dropper off of that. There's also, with that exact same setup that he put on there, we can add some bead droppers, we can add some more subtle presentations. But starting with that float presentation first, walking up to the run, breaking it apart, starting at the top, working your way to the bottom, fishing a few different, I usually give myself a bait rule. If I get bit on the first cast with bait, I'm going to kind of stick to it. You know, if I know there's fish there and I know they're going to bite bait, but I'm not going to stand at a hole and waste a half jar of eggs at one hole for hours if I'm not constantly getting bit.
Well, and he said twitching is a good thing to switch up to if you're not getting bit on a float.
Yes. If you're getting
Sounds
bit on a
nice
float,
to me.
I would sit back, I would give it a whole rest. I'd take time, I'd change holes, come back. You know, do if you can, of course, if the area you're fishing is conducive to that. But if they're going to bite a float, I would stick to it because that's honestly usually going to work the best. And if they're not getting eggs, then that's when we're going to start to transverse over into jigs and into hardware in particular. So I know I go basically, there's 3 methods in my boat. There's bait, hardware, and there's jigs. And it doesn't get too far from that.
A couple super chats. I threw my eggs, some old eggs, and my dog ate them. I'm sorry to hear that, Michael, but we do appreciate the super chat. And then I using eggs replace every cast or get some, I'm assuming more casts out of it. And that really depends on how you prep your eggs because some eggs, not all eggs are created equal, man. Like you can firm them up, you can toughen them up by drying them out a little bit the day before you go fishing. You know, depending on, like I said, if I have a good little bait, got some eggs on there, and sometimes like if they get chewed up a little bit and they're a little smaller than they were before, sometimes I think they even fish a little better.
Dude, the old cotton candy bite.
What's that?
Just plain white skein. Looks
Oh
like
yeah,
that,
just. But I
oh,
always put
man.
the easy eggs. I mean the steelhead eggs. Excuse me, on top. They were called easy eggs like in the past, but like yeah, I always put those little eggs on top of them. Yeah, that works great too. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Get casts out of them.
If the water,
How many eggs you got? That's the real question.
yeah. Well, I mean, the other thing too, has to do with clarity of water too. If the water's clear and the fish can see stuff far away, where versus using a big clump of eggs, his visibility is only 1.5 feet, and it's really cold, and you need to have a big target out there. You need to have a lost scent in the water for him. I mean, it kind of depends too a little bit on the conditions if I'm changing those eggs out every cast, but no, I try to get some mileage out of them. I mean, it's annoying changing them every single cast.
Yeah, sometimes it's just the way it goes. I hate bait in particular anyway, so when you got to do it, you got to do it. And you can't. Once you've committed, your hands are already gross. Your boat stinks to high heavens, and you got to wear extra layers so that you don't cover your nice fishing gear in egg goop. If you're camming rye, of course. Gloves or no gloves? I know you wear gloves.
Gloves.
I never wear gloves, but I have been the last few days because I just got so tired of it.
It's so gross. I appreciate rainy days when I'm egg fishing.
Well, the thing about using what we're talking about, guys, is wearing latex gloves like he was while baiting.
Yeah.
Biggest thing, I hate egg season because there's gloves everywhere all over the bank. Take your damn gloves home with you, and if you see somebody who doesn't,
Don't be a
go
dirtbag.
shove them down their throat. Because it's the most
them
annoying
over
thing
their head
ever.
first.
Yeah,
Down
finding rubber gloves full of sand
Yeah.
all over the river. It's terrible. It's
Well,
my
just don't
biggest
be a
pet peeve.
dirt ball.
Yeah,
Don't
basically.
be a D-bag.
But the thing about wearing the nitrile gloves and stuff too is the egg goop does not come off of your oily skin as well. It almost sticks to it. Where those nitrile gloves or those latex gloves, they shed that goop. You can actually clean them off, and you can actually use a bait towel without ruining it in a day. So I like to
I
kind
like
of wear
gloves
gloves.
because after 30 days of running eggs, my hands will turn to garbage.
I feel like wearing gloves is almost like drinking White Claws, you know,
Well, I'll drink a White Claw
and wear gloves.
and wear
Well,
gloves.
some guys like Nick and stuff, or like, dude, their hands are just like, dude, the chemicals and stuff on those will just eat your.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Nick, the other thing is too, it's like, I'll wear a long sleeve UPF shirt and then I'll wear gloves, like even at Buoy 10 when I'm not fishing bait. But like a lot of those guys, like, if you're using like herring brines and stuff like that, is our garage falling apart here? What was that? It
Something
fell.
fell
It
Oh,
was the Procure scent. It's in the box.
get that stuff back up there. Chop, chop. Hurry up, Clint.
All right, let's pick a winner.
Hey, I'm fixing
That's right. You need to fix it.
He's still trying to-
Really, dude? Really?
Clint, what the
Clint.
frick? Put it up there
Put
right.
it up. You didn't even put it up there right.
It fell off like instantly. I was watching
Instantly.
the whole time.
You- I'm not doing anything at all. Really?
Oh my
You
god!
guys are idiots.
It's turned around again. There's a ghost in here.
Hey, Clint says on the floor. Oh, that hurts.
All right,
This guy's
Clint.
like, gross, get Clint off my TV.
Oh,
Cam, your friend was concerned that I was just gonna go postal today, you guys.
oh, please don't. Oh,
Do whatever you want to do, dude. But I can tell you one thing: you start firing, there's gonna be stuff gets.
thank you so much, NorCal, for the super chat. Just did my own cure for the second time. 321 borax salt sugar. What do you think? I bet there's probably been more fish caught on that 321 brine than freaking anything else in the
Yeah, that's
Northwest.
you can't. That's
It's
even
definitely a
that's
good
what I
one.
started with, too, back in the day.
Definitely a good one.
Okay, am I picking a winner?
I think you should. Gotta pick a winner here. No, not that one. You didn't even.
That
You,
was-
you didn't
I gotta
even.
get
That,
to-
that's not even part of it.
I gotta get to the random part.
That's right. Get to the randomizer. Hurry up. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win?
This is your winner.
Write it like you stole it. And he answered yes. He has caught fish on twitching jigs. And I don't know, he didn't include a species. Like you asked him to.
Ooh, I'm disqualified.
Ooh, no, I think we better give it to him. I think we better give it to him.
All right,
So
well, you
drive
won
it like you stole
yourself.
it.
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, go on.
You won yourself 2 twitching jigs and some addicted fish. Oh, actually, it's not even addicted. It's just this water soluble.
Or Procure.
Good job. Procure scent. Goes on any jig.
Name, address. Which one?
be sure to send your name, address, everything to orders@addicted.fishing, and what live feed you got this on and what you won.
And your address.
And I said that.
You said everything.
And everything.
And everything.
I'll
All
just
the stuff,
you know
all the things.
you know the drill.
No, they don't. You know
I'm
how
just
people
kidding.
Don't put their address in?
Well, they don't win things then.
Well, that's when you just take it on eBay at all, anyways, right?
No, Mike does.
Oh, Mike does. Oh, that's right, Mike does. Got it. Clint's attack.
Dude, drink a Monster or something.
I've seen a ton of masks on the rivers more than gloves. Yeah, that might be the case too. And if that is, like I said, just don't be a dirtbag. Take your trash off the river. What else do we need to talk about? Any other questions, guys, on some of these tributary bobber setups? Talking some eggs. I mean, we got over 1,000 of you guys watching here, and we talked a little bit about egg. I don't know. I mean, we kind of went. I know we're gonna have some very, very in-depth,
Exactly.
dedicated twitching episodes.
Well, really
Go
quick.
on and talk.
Really quick, it's a fun one. I heard a couple people ask why you would use that set, like the setup you were using, and like, what would you change setups for certain different kinds of rivers?
Sure.
And the reason Cameron and I, why we want that setup for the particular place that we're thinking in our minds of going fishing tomorrow, is because it's a river that has a lot of variable depth. And it's a big river. It's a tailwater river, and basically all the rivers that surround us within an hour's circumference of where we live. A lot of the ones that are getting fish right now in Oregon or Washington are tailwater rivers, so they're dam fed, so they have a bigger volume. That's why he's going with that slide setup. If you're fishing a little creek, or you're on the coast, or you're in the Midwest, even, and fishing the same sort of setups, in smaller water and less cubic feet per second, smaller rivers, you're going to want to go with the same sort of setup that Cam had, and you run these fixed floats. I saw a couple people asking if you could use fixed floats for that setup. So
Absolutely.
that same split shot, the double leader, everything else can be run with a fixed float, but you're going to want to adapt that to a smaller body of water or anything that's under, I'd say, 6 feet. You don't want to use that fixed float if you have to fish water over about 6 feet. It becomes
short casting.
very cumbersome. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
need to set your depth longer than your rod is long, it's going to become very, very difficult to cast that. Nearly impossible, honestly. So.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, if you run that set, like, it's pretty much like my cutoff's like about 8 feet or so, just because, like I said, I'll run one of those riffles and it will go from like 2 feet to 4 feet, and then it'll drop into like a 12-foot, maybe 15-foot hole. If I want to suspend the bait through that, it's going to be really hard to do that with the fixed float.
God.
Yeah. Why don't you use longer bobber rods? Oh, use 9.5 to 10.5.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd ever want to go much
That's
longer.
what I never understood. Those guys in the Midwest, they fish these little tiny creeks that are like the tiniest things in the world, and they fish like 13, 14 foot
Yeah,
rods.
right. Where the rod is longer than the creek.
I'm
foot.
going to say it once
Why do
again.
they do that?
I'm just gonna say it once again, and it's so obvious because
Don't
I
take a
didn't live in this area my whole life, in particular where we're at now, within an hour of here. But the advancements in the progressiveness of fishing in this particular in the Pacific Northwest is unparalleled to anywhere in the country. I just feel like when anybody asks any question of why do the guys in the Midwest do this, and it's because they're 15 years behind. And not to be insulting, but all their methods, their favorite ways of fishing, the things that they do are the very basis of steelhead fishing. It's what was taught to begin with. It's what it started with in Canada. Bead fishing moved its way down from the north.
But you
down
get
to
a
here.
drag-free drift.
Exactly,
bro.
but we all know it's less effective to use
No.
a 14
He
foot.
may
No.
be right to an extent. I've gotten messages from some of these guys in the Midwest that tell me, like, dude, we've started deploying what you guys teach, and it's outrageous.
We used the exact same methods 15 years ago, and everybody used the same method, and now we use these methods because it's easier.
But I do know they do
And it's
fish
more
it.
effective.
For sure, they have to fish a lot smaller than us.
Right.
Oh, maybe they don't have to, but it seems like the guys I've
Dude,
talked to, they try bigger baits.
I remember the first year I tried a 14 mil
And
bead.
maybe, and like I said, if you're fishing that small and you're fishing that light of leaders, those longer rods, softer rods, could have a little more shock absorption. I mean, remember when noodle rods were the 2 to 6 noodlers?
Dude, we
were the
just have
thing,
to
right?
That's what I mean. Remember when?
We do.
Remember
What
when?
you're gonna say is
Literally,
exactly it.
Isn't the fall the time to do it? Like, isn't it like coming up? Like, isn't October or something?
Yes,
like
that's what everybody says. They get the fallbacks
Okay,
and the
let's go.
freshies. October, November.
When November's perfect, we don't do shit.
Yeah, November would be great. Should we go over to the Midwest in November and bring all our coffee grinders and all our big worms and see what we can do?
We'll link up with a bunch of you guys that fish all your rivers, and we'll use our gear. You guys use yours, and we'll see what happens. It'll be fun.
Versus
What's everyone saying? They want to see it?
West Side. Nobody's catching on
Two
yet.
things. Yes, NorCal, we appreciate
Nice
the super
link,
chat.
Todd.
We
That's what
missed
they're
that one.
saying.
Yes, well check out the channel. Can you trip fish and then hop in the Columbia and fish and back eat? Wait, can you fish a trib then hop in the Columbia and fish and back eat? That's a super chat. Scroll on the YouTube side, I think. What is
had it
that?
up there.
What? I don't understand. Can you fish a trib then hop in the Columbia and fish?
It's a typo, obviously, but he's asking if you
Can you fish the
can you catch a limit in a trib and then go out and get your fish in a Columbia.
If that's the case, no. If there's certain daily limits that, let's say a tributary was open for 2 fish and the Columbia was open for 1. If you caught 2 fish in the tributary, you would
You guys
not
took
be allowed to
shots.
Columbia.
All the Midwest dudes, we lost like 100 people.
If you guys,
No, we
you
didn't.
fish the Columbia and you catch 1 fish, you can move to the tributary and then catch
wasn't even a shot.
the second fish, but you can't catch 2 more. So
I think
they're
that's what he's
daily,
He
yeah,
corrected down here,
They're-
back and forth.
back and forth. Yeah, so like I said, if you have a limit of fish that is over the area that you are then going to go fish, you can't. Your daily limit has been achieved, and you cannot do that. And you can't do that even if it applies to state waters like the Columbia. No, you can't tag one in Washington, tag one in Oregon on the same day. It's a daily limit. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then there was one more. Will I be fine with a 7.4 medium heavy rod? I'm assuming for bobber fishing. Whoa, Frost, appreciate the super chat. You know what? You probably could get it done. I mean, it's not ideal in my eyes, but you could probably get it done because at the end of the day, at least you're going to go out there and give it a try. And you might find that mending your line on some of the bigger waters, but shoot, small creeks, small anything like that, it'd probably even be better than fishing a 9.5. Just because you'll have some maneuverability on the bank.
Right.
You never know.
I noticed that a lot last year, taking a lot of the bass fishermen that we took out fishing and doing raft trips and fishing smaller water and not being in a big boat or on a big wide river. The effectiveness of a shorter rod was definitely obvious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The ability to cast, the versatility, not being in the brush, not fishing on the boat with people, having a little more room to cast without having a 9-foot spinner rod. I definitely saw that. So certain areas, those shorter rods really can help you out, keep you out of the brush. But
Yep. Did the stream already end?
And everybody, Marlon said I took a shot at you Midwesterners. I didn't take a shot at you guys, but if you look up 1973 Salmon Trout Steelheader magazine, How to Catch a Steelhead, it'll be exactly what you're using. And if you look at there now and say 2000,
You're not making it any better, bud.
Yeah.
am I wrong though? I'm just saying. It says, oh my god!
He's like, you guys are still on
I'm not
typewriters.
bashing anybody.
We're on computers.
I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just saying you got to try it. All right.
I would like to go prove it. And we were also told that pink worms didn't work in Alaska too. So, everybody has their deal. Oh boy, y'all use pixies down here in Alaska. That's a lot of people's go.
Oh, green pixie.
Oh, pixies.
Oh, he's on the
Pixies,
pink
yeah.
pixie today.
There was another super chat too.
Yep. What is your guys' go-to for scent oil for salmon eggs? So first off, I don't put any scent oil before I cure them. After I cure them, I mean honestly, like some ProCure bloody tuna oil is never a bad thing. You can put anise oil, garlic if you're a garlic guy. Shoot, I mean the sky's the limit honestly on that. They've got
Bloody tuna anise.
bloody tuna anise. They've got, krill. They've got, shoot, you name it, they got it. So
Addicted salmon blend.
addicted salmon blend for your tuna, your super baits. Yes.
Winter chrome blend even.
Winter chrome blend.
The
Doesn't
night before I
doesn't
go
always-
fishing, I like to take all my eggs out and I put them in a Tupperware container and I just soak it in like 2 to 3 gallons of addicted salmon blend.
That's a lie. Don't listen to him.
Available by the gallon at the addicted store.
ProCure sand shrimp. That's a good one. Robert Fernandez. That's always a banger. It's a good one.
A guy
Raul
asked,
Marquez, thanks for the super chat.
Cam, I saw a guy ask if your big fish was a tule.
It was not a tule, and in fact, it cut insanely good.
It was crazy red.
It was It was Springer red. It was nice, good quality fish.
Pictures are denied.
Lies.
Your sense
I don't
do
have to
not
say.
go
I have
bad.
nothing to prove to you.
Answer
Clint.
that
I
question.
don't care what you think. You
Hey.
could think
What?
that's a tule all you want, bud.
Do these procure scents go bad after a year or so? No.
No, they will fix and hold for a couple years, but if you're one of those guys that's leaving the scent bottle in the boat when it's sitting at home and it's just getting baked every day, like it's gonna split eventually.
What?
So you're just gonna want to hold off on that. So make sure you bring them in the house, keep them cool, keep them in the shade when not in use, but they should last a couple years.
Super
Oh
chat.
gosh. These are Tupac West Side.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Just for you guys.
Oh gosh. He's gonna start a turf war between the Great Lakers and the West
Bring it.
Coasters.
Oh, God. Here we
That's
go.
so lame.
I better watch my back in the casino.
When are guided trips with a legend available? I don't know. When are they available for you, Jordan?
Super
We're all booked up.
These are the
I'm
best
just
super
kidding.
chats we've ever gotten.
Oh,
You
God.
guys are awesome.
I'm not even going to answer that because I don't know who he's talking to. Brandon.
Oh man.
Oh, I don't know.
Just get Brandon, hit him up. He'll take you out anytime.
Brandon, shoot me a message.
Yep.
Yeah.
This fall is a great time to be doing it.
Pop, pop.
Well, what
I
else?
just hit a wall there. I'm like, I'm tired.
Yeah, what else we talking about?
Early day, long day.
Yeah.
We got a big day tomorrow. So
Those clams run fast. We got
one more time, you guys, and if you
Take it
didn't
quick.
already
Tell
hear
me
the
about it.
announcement, these things are in every Walmart, basically on the West Coast. Sportsman's Warehouse,
Do we have
Fisherman's
two more for a
Marine.
giveaway, Marlon?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's
We
give a
got
couple
two.
more
You guys-
away for you guys.
We got
Super
1,000 of you
awesome.
guys hanging with us.
Well,
Be
let
sure-
people know where they're all at.
We've done it.
Yes.
We'll begin.
On our Addicted website, soon to be, mustad.com, you can get every single sequence of this jig. You can get certain variations of it at Walmart. Thank you. Big shout out to Walmart for taking on our products. All buy marts in the Northwest. I know it's kind of just a very centric thing out here. Ridgefield,
Awesome store.
all kinds of different places.
Bob's and Fisherman's.
Bob's and Fisherman's.
Porco.
And
Sportsman's.
basically every Sportsman's Warehouse from Canada all the way down to California, the entire West Coast will have these bad boys in there. So, and do not forget to pick up the bobbers. Bobbers will be in each of those stores too, as well as the Sink It series jigs.
Am I
So-
a corporate sellout if I shop at Walmart? Not this time.
Not this, only for
That's
these though.
Total. I'm just being joking, but you do you. But
Okay, two
they're
more,
there-
you guys.
They're there for the taking. I got two more for you.
We're going to give away 2 more.
What's the last question, you
What's the
guys?
last
What's the
colors?
last
What
engagement?
colors are we
I
giving
need
away?
you to drop a like first. If you don't like and share this when you do, well, that's only the beginning, right? If you don't, at least, if you have not dropped a thumbs up and we see it and we give these to you, you're banned.
The advice, I'm a good guide service for Steelhead, Northern California, Lower and Oregon.
I would highly recommend Steve Chrysler or
Oh.
any of the guys in Southern Oregon right now. They have their Trophy King season coming on. If you guys, can we drop Steve's number on the bottom of the page there?
That's not that easy, but yeah.
Okay,
Probably.
fair enough. But there are definitely guys. Look up Steve Chrysler or Todd Logan or a couple of the other guys. Alex. What's Alex's last name? I don't even know if I've ever.
Princeton.
Alex Princeton. Princeton.
Yeah.
All right, but a lot of those guys are extremely good guides. I'd highly recommend Steve. I just fished with them the other day.
Steve's awesome. To
And dude, they are going after, like, Cam's fish was amazing, but I had just gotten back from Southern Oregon, down where a lot of those guys fished the day before, and there was like 4 fish on the table that big, if not bigger. I was blown away. I was like, it is Trophy King
quality
fishing
down
down there. So if you want to check it out, give those dudes a call. I would highly, highly recommend them.
Cam and Jordan, come fish Lower Washington State. Okay.
Big deal.
How much lower?
It's as low as we can go, bud.
How low can you go? What are we asking these guys though?
Oh no, we need to have a question here.
We need to have a question. Oh, jeez. Are you going to twitch a jig this fall?
No, we don't.
Yeah, I don't know, you guys.
Lame.
It's a late night. Marlon, question. Meatloaf.
Dude, it all started with cams and guessing weight. Have people post the biggest fall fish they caught.
Okay.
Ask that question.
No, it's dumb.
That's
Uh,
not good.
Look,
Good idea.
dead air is still not.
Yeah, see,
that's the
Michael
standard.
Coleman. Look what Michael Coleman says. Like this video, or you will snag a log on every cast.
That's right. Freaking. Ooh.
Oh, man. All right, you guys.
Ooh,
Ask him.
Oh.
Ask him who do you think the better steelers are.
Oh, yes.
No,
yes, yes.
Oh my god.
I'm not.
The comments are gonna blow up.
Who would catch more steelhead? I don't know how you do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Just nope. Let's see here.
Man, I'm really.
Oh, this is awesome.
so
God. Let's see.
No. Garden frugal is never the answer. It's a terrible answer.
Should we ask people if they're going fishing this weekend?
Oh, great question. So much better than mine. Dial.
What was yours? I wasn't even listening. What was yours? I wasn't even listening.
Oh, we're keeping all these people in suspense. Oh gosh.
I hate all of you. Hurry up so I can go home.
All right, if you guys are going out fishing this weekend and you think you're going to catch a salmon on a twitching jig, comment yes or no.
That was like the worst one.
At least I said something. You guys are just dragging this out.
I know, because Clint wanted to go home, so we were purposely dragging it out just to make him suffer.
Okay.
Wow, this
You
is
totally
I'm
missed
back
it.
in this.
Over your head, dude.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of people watching right now too. They want to know what's going on here.
Oh,
They're trying to
boy.
win these switching jigs. How many thumbs ups are there?
They're already yes and no in us,
Yeah,
guys.
it's too late now.
All right, I
Shit
win.
sell.
There's 926 people on YouTube, only 360 thumbs ups.
Ooh, yeah, you guys. Again, if
30%.
you're answering
Yeah.
yes or no on any of these, be sure you have dropped that thumbs up, or else you're banned.
Or else you will not catch a boat.
Fishery
Yeah, so you
guys
will
can
snag
bring
every
their own
log.
gear, aka poles and gear. Jim, it just depends on the fishery and it depends on who you actually go with and what's kind of going on at that time. But yeah, it can always be a good discussion for when it gets close to that time.
Yes, and do not forget, you guys, as we go forward in the next couple of weeks, we've already covered all these big river tactics. Next week, or in the next coming weeks, we'll be talking a lot more about the twitching setups. We'll be talking a lot more about twitching jigs. We might get some guests in here once this COVID stuff resides a little bit. But we'll be talking much more about all the other avenues of catching a fall salmon, whether it be plugs, spinners, jigs, anything like that. So stay tuned the next coming weeks for those live feeds and save some of those questions for then. So, what would you remember? Or would you forget? Oh, man.
I forgot. That's all right. We will do it next.
All I know is we're going fishing tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm stoked.
I'm tired. Marlon and I plan on taking a guide trip with Cam. We'd like you to pay for your seat as well. Let's do it. I agree. That's fine. Let's do it.
He said, I would like to pay for your seat. Not you pay for your seat.
I'd like you to come and pay for yourself if you can.
I'm down, Eddie. Let's do it.
I guess
dude.
we're going fishing.
That'll be fun.
Perfect. Fishing, yes. Twitching, no.
Dude, this.
Oh, that would have been a good question. Who watched Cameron catch that fish? What did you think of that?
I don't know. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, how many people have went and watched that? Make sure people to remind them to go watch. I should put in the description, big fish caught at this time.
Yeah. You should.
That's a good idea. I'm gonna do that.
Where was
Okay.
that video?
It's on the Sunday's live feed.
Dude, there's like more. Guys, we're like closing it up right now. There's like more people.
Yep.
They're gonna have to be here for that.
Well, we do appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to select that winner here pretty quick, but I tell you what, I know a lot of you guys tuned in kind of late because we got over 1,000 of you guys watching, but you can always go back and watch the start of the live feed. We had a lot of updates as pertaining to the Columbia River and some of the technique stuff that we talked. So if you tuned in late, once we get off here, give YouTube a little bit and you can go back and rewatch the live feed and check that out.
I
And-
have the timestamp here. Hang on.
I think we need to pick a winner. Come on. Clint.
Do you think we're gonna go live on the water tomorrow? Or I mean Wednesday, next Wednesday?
Yes, we might be able to. Should be able to. Might have to go a little earlier though.
1 hour mark, exactly 60 minutes.
1 hour mark
Is what?
on the last live
When
feed.
Cam starts hooking that beast.
The beast.
1 hour in.
The
1 hour.
mega.
We've already been out there for 14 hours to the.
You guys lost like 15 fish.
Somewhere I wasn't. Here we go.
What am I doing?
You're
picking
picking a
a
damn
winner.
winner.
Can I just end it?
Frick, Clint.
I'm not out of your nose.
Damn it, Clint.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
Oh my god.
Pick the damn winner so I can go home.
I
I'm
gotta,
tired.
the randomizer has to
Yeah.
warm up. Hang
Come on, man.
I had it turned off.
We. Never mind.
Okay. Randomizer.
Matt Dennis.
All right.
You've
Matt.
won yourself a set of addicted twitching tail out twitcher jigs. Addicted twitching tail out twitcher jigs. Like it. We're gonna do that. Be sure to send your information to orders at addicted.fishing. Please include your damn address and what you won. Because if you don't, Clint's gonna
Kyle,
have to
tell him
deal
Kyle,
with you.
that's my favorite milk boy for sure.
What?
He said, who's your favorite milk boy?
Oh,
Kyle.
milk bite. Yeah, the milk bite was killer.
Milk boy?
Milk boys,
Milk
dude, the
boy?
milk
I don't watch Milk Boy.
Yeah.
I don't really. I'm too old. I'm too old for that stuff.
We already know.
You don't like enjoying entertainment?
The ones you send me are hilarious. I just don't watch them daily.
I don't either. And usually when I send them to people, I tell people the exact time to start watching it because there's a lot of stuff in the videos that I'm like, I'm so.
We'll call it fluff. We'll call it fluff.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of
Too much
fluff. That's not how you spell my last name. Well, unfortunately, you didn't. I think Clint needs low hold again. He's getting out of line.
I don't even
Ooh.
want to tell you how many
Jordan-
times
Jordan will
I've
low
actually
him.
low hole out there over the last couple of weeks.
We need to do that live.
You were so supportive of this before. You're like, ooh,
No.
people are gonna.
Perfect.
I said
to me
people are
out
actually
there.
gonna do it, and I'm gonna be pissed.
I don't remember that.
Oh, it's gonna happen. Thank you so much. Yes, Michael Coleman. We missed the bashes too.
Oh,
Thank you for the
God,
super
yeah,
chat. We're
Michael.
trying to figure out. I think what we're gonna do, and I'll maybe do a little
Zoom bash?
short, and we are gonna do like a big seminar online. We're gonna somehow incorporate our retailers into it as well. We're trying to figure out how we do that, and basically do like an online bash because that's just what we have to do now. But trust me, we miss them too. Yeah, we definitely we'll probably do a bunch of giveaways on it too. You'll get, and we're thinking the start of winter steelhead season, right, Marlon?
Yep.
So
No, we're gonna do one in the fall.
in the fall, you gonna do like a twitching one?
Yeah, like October sometime.
Okay.
They won't be that hard to organize.
No, they won't be. No, but we'll announce them, and you guys will catch wind of that, and we'll get them out there to you guys, and there'll be online bashes because that's what's cool now. But
It's not cool.
or not cool now, but it is what it is. So.
Thank you guys.
Yep. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it. If you guys would just do me a favor and share this channel with your family and friends, let us know what's up. Share it with them. Anybody who likes fishing, I think would like something on Addicted Fishing's YouTube. So be sure to check that out. We'll see you guys on the water this weekend.
Yeah.
That's it. Later.
Stay fishy.